in the booth with me, my guest. I'm really excited about that. King Varquis. Hello, sir.
Hey, hey. What's
I want to make sure. Let me see if we can get your mic turned up. Okay, try that.
Hey, hey.
Cincinnati. Let me turn you up. Is this you over here?
I believe so.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can
okay.
Hear.
Perfect. All right, y'all. Come on.
My apologies for my tardiness. I want to start off with that.
Fashionably late, we like to say here.
Absolutely.
So let's give folks a little bit of background on you. Let's talk about, where you're from originally. Are you originally from the Natty?
I am from Middletown, Ohio. So
that's still a Natty, man. That's still a Natty.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Cincinnati. It's like always compared to like New York City.
Okay.
You ever been to New York?
Oh yeah, many times.
Okay, so they have like different boroughs. You got Brooklyn, Queens.
Exactly.
But it's all still New York City.
Yes.
So Middletown is like its own little city, but it's still part of Cincinnati.
It's a borough of the Natty.
Right. I'm 3 still.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And you're here today. Now, I already told listeners that, you're musically inclined. But today, you're here to talk about your writing. You're an author. So let's talk a little bit about being an author. Yeah.
Self-published author.
What's that all about?
I have a book that I wrote called Breathe, a poetry book.
Okay.
It's a collection of poems.
Okay.
Pretty much about my life and things that I experienced, and my views on my life and different experiences that I had. So,
okay. Well, I'm a poet by nature, so I'm really excited to kind of share your lyrical or literary, interpretation of life and how you see it. What prompted you to put your poetry and your thoughts in book form?
It was something that was kind of, it was like artistic expression,
okay.
as I like to say. I started it in '99.
Okay.
And it was just like a branch, because anybody that knows me pretty much knows I MC and,
okay.
And I rap and whatnot. But it was just like an extension of my artistry,
okay.
I would like to say.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of say, hey, let me try writing a book and put the words down, because
right.
a lot of people complimented me on how well I put words together. So I thought it would be cool for them to be able to actually read what I'm writing.
Were you nervous to share a lot of, because poetry for me is very personal. Were you nervous about exposing oneself, so to speak, in the sense that your deepest thoughts, fears, successes, love?
That's a great question. The book almost didn't come out because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've said in a couple other interviews that I had that it's very, very personal.
Yes.
I do talk about love or the idea of love.
Yes.
And a lot of I talk about my grandmother and my family, my upbringing, which wasn't bad. It just real personal stuff that I don't normally share.
Yeah.
But so I would say it's definitely personal.
Do you think?
That's a great question.
Yeah, thank you. I try. Do you think, from an artistic individual's perspective, did music help you open up the idea of sharing, or was it, something else?
No, that's absolutely correct. The music helped because it was, with rhyming and writing raps, you express yourself that way as well. And some songs can be personal too.
Definitely.
So that actually gave me more courage to write the book. You know what I mean? Because not saying that you're hiding behind the music.
No.
But the words are just just there.
Yeah.
So music definitely gave me more of it gave me more courage. To do that.
And where did the title "Breathe" come from?
It came from the some of the poems that I have in the book. Being that it was being that it was personal.
Yes.
It was like a release for me. Venting session.
I like that.
Therapeutic.
I do.
So with it being therapeutic and being a venting session for me, that's kind of how I came up with the title.
And venting isn't always negative, right? I think we give it a negative connotation because it sounds like, quote unquote, letting off steam.
Right.
However, there's some, therapy in that, and there's some good that comes out of that.
Absolutely. When I went back and, when you're writing it, you're in the midst of it.
Right.
But going back and reading it, it was like, it was really helpful.
Yeah.
Help deal with, some of the, maybe not so positive things that occurred in my life.
Right.
So,
right. I think that's a very mature way of sort of handling that? You said this is a long time coming, and a lot of time was involved in sort of getting down information and then subsequently putting that information together and sharing. What has been the initial response from the book?
The book, actually, the response has been great.
Wonderful.
I have it online, and a few of my friends and supporters have purchased some copies and stuff, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback. They're saying it's an easy read, it's a great read.
Okay. Do you think people have learned, even your friends have learned things about you that maybe they didn't know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I'm really, a private person.
Okay.
So for me to be an artist is kind of, I won't say an oxymoron, but it's kind of, it's difficult when you are private, but then you share so much in your music, and hip hop and poetry is very expressive. So, I would say they have learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself too.
Now that's what's up. That's what's up.
And hopefully, when people read the book, they can learn a lot about themselves as well.
Interesting.
Open
now that's a good answer. I'm gonna throw that back to that. That's a good answer.
Thank you.
If you would, you had said that you wanted to share a piece. Can you share one with listeners? Start with the title so we'll know, and then share.
I have one specifically. This is a new one that I haven't recited in the interview yet.
Okay.
But it's called
Respect. I'll take that.
Yeah. This was an
exclusive.
This was a special interview. I've been waiting a while, to get up with you.
Yes, sir.
You're doing a lot of great things in the city.
I appreciate that.
And I'm honored to be on the show.
Come on, man.
I had to give you an exclusive.
That's what's up. I have much love for that. And I mean that sincerely, because you don't have to. You don't have to. So, much love. Let's go.
City Limits. That's the name of the poem.
Okay.
It has a double meaning somewhat, so you'll kind of get that
okay.
in the poem. City Limits. Born and raised within the city limits. The city limits. The city limits us from a lot of things. The city limits us from the dreams we have. The city limits us from a decent education. The city limits us from being able to see the world. It limits us from seeing beyond the blocks we are confined to. Mind you, I am young, black, and gifted. The city limits us from seeing the big picture, from knowing it's more out there. Sometimes the city limits us from growing, and the city sometimes limits us from becoming something, keeping our minds closed with no direction of where we want to go. I come from the city, where some are content with living mediocre. The city limits boys from becoming men, but I won't let the city limit me.
Oh,
kind of basic, but
not basic at all.
City limits.
Please don't. Yeah, like that in and of itself. And simplicity allows your message to be reached further. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't have to complicate or water down or muddle a message with a lot of words, a lot of verbiage. Sometimes simplicity is best. And for me, that piece talks a lot about a lot of my male friends in the city and their perspective and how oftentimes they can feel
that mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't do. Yeah. Let's come on, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, that's the other ones that I've recited before are more wordy.
Okay.
A little bit more intricate.
Yeah.
But that one is kind of, when I say basic, I mean it's kind of just simple. It's to the point. But it says it does say a lot because it just talks about the mind frame of some our people.
Yeah.
Being trapped within the city and letting that limit their their thought.
Exactly, their evolution.
Right.
Why did you choose that one to read? Were you hoping to share a message?
I'm always hoping to share a message.
Okay.
In my work, I pride myself on sharing, being positive and putting positive energy out there.
Yeah.
It's needed. I'm human.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I represent positivity. And trying to share uplifting messages and trying to get our people, as you said, to elevate the mind state. And, how they look at life and themselves. So I picked that one because it's been on my mind a little bit.
Okay.
And, number one, number two, like I said, it's an exclusive.
I take that.
For Jay all day.
Jay all day is oh so grateful. Well, what I'm also excited about is that, again, I've always been a fan of words. how they can change somebody's life, how they can, oftentimes help explain things that we as individuals stumble with. And it sounds like through your life lessons, you sort of suffered so we don't have to. Why is it important to share that suffering and lessons with others? Can you change somebody's life that way?
It's possible. Music and words and artistic expression, it's been proven that it has. You have people that, even myself, I've had people come to me and say, hey, that song or that poem helped me, get through, a situation. So
yes.
Absolutely, I can give you a quick story.
Okay.
A friend of mine shared the book. She knows who she is, but she shared the book with her mother.
Okay.
In a group of her friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I was kind of, I didn't know how to feel about it because they were crying as they were reading the book.
Wow.
But they felt my pain, but it helped them discover some things that they were going through.
Wow.
So it spoke to them. Not only could they feel what I was going through, but it spoke to their experiences as well. It's very grounded and universal. So, I feel like it can help.
I love that and the immediate question for me in you telling and sharing that story is that, how did that change you?
That made me, that's a great question too, but that made me feel, like I said, the crying part, I was like, oh no, don't cry, about it. It wasn't like a sad thing, but it to be honest, it made me feel like, okay, hey, I got something. Like I can touch people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
So that's the immediate, that's not the immediate feeling, but like I said, I didn't want to see them hit them sad, but after that, the immediate feeling after that was like, hey, I think I got something, like I can actually touch people with my words. And, sometimes, as an artist, you want people to feel where you're coming from, and hear you. So I was kind of a little, not worried, but just kind of like, I wonder if they're going to, get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just my story, but really it's a lot of other people's stories.
And tears don't always mean sad,
Yeah, I think it's just, they just felt.
Exactly.
What was,
it means healing. It can mean happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It can mean so many emotions. And so many things, we pigeonhole certain things, ideas, words, feelings and emotions.
Right.
And we shouldn't limit anything, I guess. We should allow everything to have possibilities to be big or small and be comfortable with whatever they are,
Right.